Hey everyone, how you doing? Ron here with TechTipsToGo. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some of the top mistakes people do when they're looking to stake Polkadot on the Polkadot network. So let's get into the video. As you can see right now, I'm on the Kusama network. The URL is polkadot.js.org, but if you somehow land onto Kusama because you've been doing some Kusama nominating or something, or if you're a validator, the only thing you need to do is come over here, click on the drop down box, click on Polkadot, and click on switch. So I've been talking to a lot of people, so I got a lot of questions about people staking on Polkadot. What do I need to do? What am I doing? How should I do it? So I'm going to get into that. Some of the top Q&A questions and answers that I've been kind of answering in my private conversations. So I kind of wanted something to refer to and just say, hey, click on my video or go to YouTube and do a search on Polkadot, etc. So when you're staking on Polkadot, like I said, you're going to need to know four main things. Okay. Now, these four main things are one, your stash account, your validator, nominator, and your controller. So let's start off with a stash and a controller. So your stash account is basically, think of it like your cold wallet. You need to create, it's not mandatory that you need to create two wallets, but it's easier and you'll see it down the road when you do this. You should always have a stash account, which, as you can see, I'm using my ledger, my cold wallet ledger, as my stash account. So stash account is a wallet. You could create a stash account with the polkadot.js browser extension, which is over here. So as you can see, I got controller for dot, a second dot controller. So I'm creating my accounts because I like to keep things separate with Kusama and Polkadot, etc. So your stash account, I'm using my ledger, and your stash account, you could create it on a Polkadot wallet. You could use that if you want, but I prefer to use my ledger. The second part is a controller. A controller is exactly what it says. It controls the functions that you do on the Polkadot network. You want to bond, you want to unbond, you want to allocate more dot to a nominator, or you want to nominate more. You need funds in your controller account. Think of it as Ethereum gas. So every transaction that you do on Ethereum, you're going to need ETH as in gas, right? To do the stuff that you want. You want to transfer, you want to send, etc. Same thing with Polkadot. You have stashes and controller. The next thing you want to figure out, nominator and validator. Validator, 99% of you won't be a validator unless you're going to become a Polkadot validator, which is probably unlikely. So a nominator is basically, you nominate, you become a nominator, and you bond your funds to a specific validator. So that's what you're doing. You bond your funds, and then once you bond it, you want to stake or you want to nominate, aka nominate. So you want to basically nominate your funds to a validator. So, and then basically you come over here to staking and you look at staking overview, and basically you want to nominate to these validators. Okay. So let's get into the mistakes that people make over here. So part of the mistakes that a lot of people look at is they're looking for someone to nominate on. So you need to select the right validator. Okay. So the first thing you should do is take a look at the staking overview. Okay. This is, you can see the list of validators that you want to select. Okay. Now, when you find the right ones, like these are just random ones that I found and that I selected. So I just starred them. Okay. So that's one of the things you should be doing. When you find a good one, highlight it. Now, if you look at these ones are grayed out. They're grayed out. I don't know, maybe they're not in an era or in a set. So basically, if these validators are not online and they haven't been rewarded in a long time, that means they're not going to be in an included active set. Now, you want them to be in an active set. So basically they're in an era, because if your validators that you select, let's say you pick, these validators, if they're not within this era, none of these, you won't get paid within the era as well. So that's one of the mistakes that people make, is they don't select validators that are in a specific era or that haven't been paid recently, and you can check all of the stats elsewhere. Now, the other thing that you want to look at is not just the commission, okay? You want to look at how much stake do they have in here of their own stake. So commission is great, but you also want to look at the graph. You want to see the era points, because if they're getting era points, that means that they're in the active era set. So that means that they're getting rewarded, meaning you'll get rewarded too. So you can see, so another mistake is some people, they don't select the proper validator. You want to make sure that there's no slashes. And the commission too. Has it been jumping up and down? As you can see, it's been pretty steady. Okay. So the next mistake that people forget to make, or that they make, is they don't come over here to targets. You want to come over to targets, but even before that, you want to go to slashes. So all of those validators that you selected and that you starred, that you're presumably going to select, you want to come over to slashes and make sure that none of those validators are slashed. Maybe they went offline. Maybe their hosting provider or their server went down. It wasn't backed up, so they weren't able to get it back up and ready. So you can see the total of everything. So they got slashed. So like I said, we're going to go over targets. The mistake that people don't select is coming to targets and making sure that the validators that you selected are key. Okay, so you want to come over here, look at targets. And so one of the mistakes that they look at is here. People just look at the return. Now, it's not just the return that you're looking at. They might have a great return. One thing that I look at is the commission. What commission are they charging? 2%, compared to this person is charging 10%. This person is charging 100%, because they don't want anyone on. Okay, so one thing people look at, they look at the highest number. Okay, well, they're almost giving 14%. I'm going to go with them. But you want to look at one of the main things that I like to look at is, okay, are they oversubscribed? Because if they're oversubscribed, it's not worth it. Basically, it's kind of like a threshold. If you got like 50 people and you're the 51st person, that's the threshold. 51 might be the magic number. So you don't want to pick anyone that is oversubscribed. Another mistake is, like I said, they just pick the highest return and they look at the lowest commission. But one thing to look out as well is the recent payout. Was it yesterday or was it recently? If you look at the norm, the average, when were they paid out? Recently. So that is one of the key mistakes. I'm not going to go through everything because there's a lot to cover, but the most important part of selecting a validator, and the key mistake that I see, is when you come over here, when you go to account actions. You want to make sure, this is just a test account because I'm showing people how to basically, you can bond more funds, or what you want to do is set nominees. Because I'm in an active nomination, I can't do this, so I can't stop it or can't change it. But the major mistake that people make is not selecting or nominating enough validators, because you should be nominating at least 16 validators to stake on. So at least one of those validators within that era, you know, you have a higher chance that at least if you just get one out of the 16 is part of that active era, then you'll get rewarded. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they come online, they go through the quick tutorial, and they select one validator, and that's it. And they wonder, how come I'm not getting rewarded? How come I'm not getting rewarded, etc.? That's because you didn't select enough validators to select on. So you could do a maximum of 16. And like I said, the biggest thing that I see a mistake, people don't create a second controller account. You want to create a controller account with the polkadot.js if you're using your ledger. Never use your stash account and your controller account just with your ledger. It's not advised to do so. You can do it, but they just don't recommend it. So now the other part is when you come over to your accounts, people are looking for payouts. They're saying, well, Ron, I don't even know what I'm getting paid out. I go to payouts and it doesn't show. So people come over here, they select payouts, and it hangs. This is basically the interface overlay of Polkadot in the background. So as you can see, nothing has been rewarded on this site. But if you come over here and you go to accounts, Now you can see this, my ledger, which is my stash account. Okay, so I come over here and you'll see these two icons. You've got the Polkastats and you have polkascan.io. So click this icon here. Now polkascan.io is going to tell you everything that you need to know, how much you've staking rewards, etc., the balance. So come over here to staking rewards or staking activities, and you could look at all the details of what you did. You nominated 4 validators, you bonded an extra, everything that you did, your activity. So if you're trying to figure out what you did, you can see if you actually sent, 1 dot to your controller account because you need gas for controlling, but this is, you need millidots for a dot. Then you could come over here to staking rewards. Okay, now you can see within my errors, I've got 0.03, 0.03, 0.03, right? And you look at the details. You can see the details of everything. And then the last part is, your balance history. You can see this, right? As you stake, this is going to get higher and higher and higher, right? So as you can see, 0.798, and now I'm at 107, 0.798, and 0.82, 0.86. Right, so it's growing, and then you can look at transactions and everything. So bonded. So that's it for the video. I hope you liked the video. Please comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, like I said, I have a free group. It's t.me. The link is going to be up here. It's t.me/TechTipsToGo. It's free group, and as you know, I do have a private group. We do talk a lot about Polkadot, Kusama, and anything that's running on Polkadot. We also talk about NFTs and pump and dumps and all that good stuff. So decentralized finance. So the group is called Wealth Mastery. It's all about making passive income, making gains. Kind of one goal in mind, right, is kind of like digital wealth creation. So anyways, if you like the video, like I said, comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.